Hey everyone, welcome back to the Winning Edge. Guess what? We back and we have our friend Mr. Daniel Gallagher back in the saddle with us tonight. Thankfully, he's on boots on the ground. He's doing out in the road, doing some recruiting right now, trying to get us some good insight on this upcoming week 9 of college football. Because boys, do we have a doozy? We have a good lineup coming up. Jordan, we have you back in the studio every week. You're not missing a week. You don't give a rat's ass.
Here, I'm locked in.
Yours. This is yours. This is your show at this point. I love it. We're back. We're going to talk week 8. Good reactions that we're here on a Monday. Fresh reactions right to you. I'm pretty pumped about that. Going into week 9, we'll talk about a little bit about NFL, but I got some thoughts and feelings about the NFL that I need to share with you guys, and I want to see if you guys have the same reaction to me. So Dan, we'll start with you since you were not here last week, and we kind of used you as a punching bag, but we got no reaction back because you weren't here. So Illinois, they pull off a win, man. So I want to know how your thoughts, your feelings, how you feeling. Are you looking good? I mean, and you have a face for radio, and I'm really glad you're sharing it with us.
Yeah. Well, let me start by just saying it's been an eventful day. Actually, I talked to you earlier. I was right on the Nebraska campus, lost, trying to find a Walmart. Somehow ended up on the Nebraska campus. Watched some people play some golf. It's been an eventful day down in Husker Nation. Despite their recent struggles in football, they're in good spirits around here. But no, it was a great game last week. Could do without the uniforms. Not a big fan of the uniforms they had.
Okay, so let's talk about that before we go any further. I mean, there has to be a highlight of the uniforms, right? Like there has to be some positive in it. If you had to pick a
It's nice
positive,
to see.
what'd you like best about them, and what was the worst part?
I guess I like that they did something like, I guess, unique or different. You know, like I know Notre Dame, they do some of their stuff different for the Shamrock series, and like
Yeah,
Oregon's infamous for lots of different like alternate uniform. I mean, so I guess okay, credit that they tried something different, and they tried something because it was like a 100-year anniversary of the stadium, like all
yeah.
that stuff. So like I
The
give them
last time
credit.
they produced a somewhat of a talent on the field, so they had the
No,
leather helmets back.
Dick Butkus came out of Illinois, but after the Galloping Ghost, okay,
No,
and
I love the helmets. That was it. Everything else kind of shit. So they
I
need to.
read, I think I read it. They said each one took like 20 hours
Oh, I'm
to
sure.
do,
I'm sure. But
all for
yeah.
them to wear them once, and then they're gonna be like, all right, throw these away.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But no,
But
overall, I was
good.
really happy. I mean, again, they get back on track after I don't even know how to explain Penn State. Me and Jordan we were out eating, and I think they were up what by like it was like 30 something to 20 something. Jordan's like, oh
It's
yeah,
a
they're good, they're fine.
it's a
It was
two-score
like in the
game.
fourth quarter. By the time I get home, I'm like, all right, 50-49 overtime. I'm like, all right, cool. Um, and it gives me better confidence that going into next week, it's not going to be a complete disaster. As
Maybe.
much as I'm a huge Illini fan, like it's going to take some pretty creative, play calling and some luck. Obviously, I think for them to go into Eugene, number one team in the country.
But we'll get to
Um,
that. You're going too
yeah.
far out. We'll get to
So, but
that.
again, their performance puts me at least at more at ease. They played not great, but they played smart. They did what they needed to do to win. They snapped a 6 or 9 game losing streak against Michigan, first win since like the early 2000s against them. They're still undefeated at home. So
Good. So
a
you're in
lot of
high spirits
positives.
right now. You're ready. You're feeling good. You're amped up about your squad.
I would have liked to
Um,
have seen them be maybe two. I think we talked like about two spots up, 2-3 spots up from where they're at in the rankings, roughly. Because there's
yeah, but
some
honestly,
teams. Yeah,
anyone under 15, it doesn't really matter at that point because I think it's just like rock paper scissors at that point. But
I will
Jordan,
say, let me touch on that game real quick because I want to.
all right,
Yes, they
let's do it.
win 21. Two-score game, right? You have to be a little concerned with the offense output, right? Like because they didn't outside of turnovers, right? Which is a defensive stat, which you cause, turnover margin. I mean, Altmaier only threw for 80 yards, right? 1 touchdown, which is great. Took care of the ball again, which has been his kind of his specialty for the year. Ran the ball pretty decent, evenly, 54 yards with Lafferty, McCray 50 yards, and Altmaier rushed for 48. And then you had Tanner Arkin run for 36 on one, just a long distance run. So no, like it's kind of crazy that. Do you feel like they won the game or Michigan lost the game?
I think I told Zach this earlier. I would lean more Michigan loss. Like, yeah, this was one of their less impressive offensive outputs. I mean, because like
Mhm.
obviously we know like they're capable of putting up points. Like, you know, when they need to, they play smart. But this wasn't even just like playing smart or conservatively. Like just like you said, like Altmaier, like 80 yard, like that's his worst performance of the year. Um, and I mean, one of his touchdowns, it was like it was because it was with his feet, which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't. It wasn't. I can't remember it because there was a couple of his that were great runs that weren't designed, and then some of his designed runs were bad. But the other thing, like you kind of said, is it's great they have the rushing spread, but like that's the other thing is since the start of the year, it seemed like Egan or Finnegan, I forget how you say it, was going to be their go-to back, and it's like shifted. Like they've gone, like it's you know what I mean. Like now they're kind of doing a little running back by committee, which can be concerning. Um, I'm not going to say it's panic button type thing there, but there's some things to be cautious of. I would definitely say. I mean, I told Zach, Michigan they were just terrible. I mean, their quarterback is awful, and everybody knows that they've got to run it, and even so, they still did a okay job at generating offense that way because that was all they had. But it's
Mhm.
like it was more Michigan's game to lose than it was Illinois' to win. If their quarterback could have put together even two or three, like clutch moments, I think it could have been different.
Yeah, if they
Yeah.
actually had some type of producing on
When
offense,
he,
Michigan, dude.
yeah, when he got some passes to Loveland, I mean, because Loveland's just a stud. I mean, he was breaking out runs, and it's like if they could string, if they had somebody behind center that could string a couple of those together, it could have been a different story.
I love it. So, Jordan, let's get to you. Penn State obviously had a bye week this past week. Chance to catch your breath after a crazy USC game the week prior. So how you feeling about coming into this week with the Penn State and Indy Lions?
I'm not. I don't know. It's kind of one of those catch games. Wisconsin's 5-2, right? And it's in Wisconsin. Um, I don't know. I hope everybody hopes it's a fire. What kind of lights a fire under somebody like that? Wisconsin's always sneaky like that, right? They're just like kind of in the mix, can beat people if they choose to. I think they're going to handle business. I'm tired of the disrespect of letting these one-loss teams jump Penn State and be ahead of them in the rankings. Though that's gonna grind my gears. Even though ultimately it doesn't care or it doesn't matter in the long run. Win your games, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
But I just these SEC teams flirting with the top spots, even though they got one loss or beating each other up, which is fine. But Penn State, I think, comes in. I think if they handle their business, set the tone for this week, it should be good because then they got Ohio State the following week, and that's a home game. So
Do
I
you
think
worry they'll be looking ahead to? They might get in that trap of looking ahead and worrying about Ohio
I don't
State.
I don't think so because I don't think that's ever happened to them in the past. They get to the game and then that's when they decide to lay an egg, right? That's kind of the way it is. They get to the big games and they're like, well, okay, well, we're here. We
Yeah.
just need to step up a little bit. But, they're going to play the game that they've been playing all year, which is run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, see what they're working with going into halftime, make adjustments, and then go live with those adjustments and really turn it up in the second half. That's what they've done all year long. I assume they're going to continue to do that. Last week was impressive, just the fact that they came back and they needed a win where they had to come back from almost a 2-score. I think it was 10 points.
Yeah.
Come back and win that game, which is huge. For a USC team that, I mean, we'll get into it, but it just continues to falter, man. Welcome to the Big Ten, I guess. But yeah, I don't feel good. We'll see about it. It's a late game, which is great, 7:30. It's going to be fantastic. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I like that. Like to touch on Dan's point, I don't think they'll be looking too far ahead. Coming off a bye week, I think they're obviously their main focus was Wisconsin. I'm assuming all week, and maybe even just they might be throwing some things in to prepare for Ohio State to test out. I mean, obviously, like you said, Wisconsin's no slump. They're a Big Ten squad at home, 7:30. The environment's gonna be exciting, whatever.
Mhm.
So it might be, they might obviously they're gonna have to play their best game regardless. It's the Big Ten. We're gonna have to do that right now, but yeah, I like it. I like where you guys are sitting right now, and I want to touch on the top 25 as well because I'm in the same boat as you. I think there's some things that they missed And I think they're doing with a lot of SEC bias right now. And I mean, like you said, ultimately it doesn't really matter because we're going to be playing conference championships and then getting in 12-team playoffs. So, I mean, seeding does matter. That's very important. But I think if you stay within the top 5, I think you'll be all right. But yeah, I don't know. So I want to hear your thoughts on the top 25. Just kind of, where do you think like the theme is right now? Like it seems there's a route everyone's kind of leaning on, and then it's kind of reflecting right now.
I'm gonna be honest. I think I don't like, and this is just maybe the old head in me, the 1-loss teams being ahead of anybody with a 0 in their loss column. Is kind of, I understand strength of schedule. I get those things. But if somebody is handling their business, regardless of how they're handling their business or who they're handling their business against, like IU being 13th with the
Underneath
number 1
Notre
offense,
Dame.
underneath, or being the number 1 offense in the country is kind of insane to me. And I get it. I also understand. I know who they played. Nebraska was their biggest test, and they whooped them like 56-7.
They
right?
had their second string in at freaking halftime. Like,
exactly.
Stupid.
So I mean, that's a little disrespectful. Even Pittsburgh being down there 6-0, Army 7-0, Navy 6-0, all down there in the bottom half of the top 25 is kind of crazy to me. You've got Vanderbilt sitting at 25 at 5-2, right below 7-0 and 6-0 teams, which is crazy. So,
I think to follow what you said, I think even more of a problem is you had a couple of 2-loss teams over these teams with 0 loss and 1 loss.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And okay, who they play, whatever. But Alabama and Ole Miss, like, I told Zach, I was like, if I'm, maybe it's just my slight bias, but I said I wouldn't have put like Illinois, Missouri, whatever, any higher than 18, but it's like any one of them has an argument to be over Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And Alabama. I mean, because like you said, okay, your strength of schedule is harder, but you're also a bigger school with a, better facility. You know what I mean? You get better recruit, all these things. So it's like, it's kind of how it goes, right? Like, and your schedule is harder. Part of it is like they pick part of their schedule. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's some of these other schools don't have the ability. They would love to play harder teams, I'm sure, but they don't always have that luxury.
Yeah. The number 9 Clemson bothers the hell out of me because they got their ass absolutely handed to them to Georgia. But other than that, they haven't played anybody, and they're not really dominating people. Kind of like Iowa State, same thing. Like, I know they're undefeated, but they also haven't really played anybody too exciting besides, maybe at the time they were ranked 21 in Iowa. That close win there. But so like a BYU could probably be up in the top 10, an IU top 10. And, I don't know. It's tough right now. And even, I don't know. It's almost like rock, paper, scissors from nine down at this point. Like, I feel like every single team could probably beat each other in this top 10 or 9 and under. Like, there's no like significant, like, oh, this team is way better. I mean, maybe you can argue with the Army, Navy, and Vanderbilt. We haven't really seen them against talent, but also they're undefeated and they're dominating their opponents. It's not like you're playing Notre Dame and Northern Illinois and getting beat. So
I feel like there's a little, and I almost feel like, yes, you're not playing anybody, but if you are undefeated, you play those teams because that's kind of what you have laid out for yourself to play. Even if it's like Big 12, you can't really fault Iowa State for the Big 12 and what those people actually are because you don't have a ton of ranked teams in the Big 12. I don't think you have 3 maybe. Iowa State, BYU, Kansas State, I think, the way it stands right now. So I don't know, man. It's weird because you want to put everybody who has 0 losses in their loss column all the way up at that's how I feel. Put them up as high as they can go. Just because they deserve it. You see some of these 5-2 teams, Ole Miss, Alabama. They're the only, Vanderbilt.
Michigan was hanging around with 3 losses until this week.
Right. Yeah. So like that's part of it for me is you got to get those people out of there. You know what I mean? I just can't. I cannot. I feel comfortable with a 25th ranked Vanderbilt. I know They beat the number 1 team in the country, right? I get it.
Yeah.
But
Were they
what
really
that
the number one team?
look what that number 1 team in the country is looking like right now at 5-2, right?
And they
So
let a terrible Ball State team score 14 points on them, and
Right.
they only won by 10. So like,
yeah,
it's
The
not like
other-
they're doing IU stuff. They're not doing, I don't know. What pisses me
Mhm.
off too is Texas, right? They only dropped 4 points or 4 spots. I mean, yeah, you lost by 15, but it's still like they were number 5 and you're number 1. You can't just swap spots.
yeah,
I think, and with the number 7-0 Miami underneath it, they have no defense at Miami, but that's a different story. But still, I mean, on the record books, they're undefeated. So I don't think Texas or even Ohio State moved Miami up to 4. Like, I mean, in hindsight, it doesn't matter, right? We talked about it just a minute ago. It doesn't matter because it's going to keep shaking up every week. It's good talking points for us podcasters.
Yeah, for sure.
It's good stuff to talk about, but I just feel like, I don't know. I hope this doesn't continue through at the latter half of the season,
Mhm.
and we'll start getting into like the nitty gritty close conference play. Go ahead, Dan. Sorry,
I
I cut
think
you off.
the other thing is like kind of with what Jordan was saying, like the path you've laid out, like the more and more that these teams continue to consolidate into these conferences, like some of these other teams, like Army and Navy, right? They're military schools, they're independent, like they can't help that now, the Big Ten is, your general conference schedule is that much harder because half the Pac-12 jumped into it. You know what I mean? Like that's
Army and Navy are in the American Conference, but yeah,
Are
I
they?
see what yeah.
But yeah,
There's
I
only
bet you-
3
that's-
independent schools, I think.
Yeah, I thought the academies used to all be in that, but
They used to be. You're right. No,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
you're definitely right.
But my point, like, as we consolidate, like there, you know what I mean, these conferences and like all the top quote unquote top programs go into these 2 maybe 3 conferences. Like Jordan said, like you can't help that as you try to the Big 12 tries to fill who they lose or whatever. You got to go with what's available, what's out there,
Right.
and so then
And these
you're
teams are
locked in.
producing.
Yeah, so you're locked into having to play who's in your conference, and the fact that half your conference jumped ship one year to another conference, like you can't.
So let's switch gears here. I think, I don't know. Okay, so let's switch gears over to this week and what this week has game wise. And the reason I want to do this is because I keep looking and I see College Game Days going to IU, which is super, super badass for the folks
Yeah.
down in Bloomington. Like, good for them. They're getting some hype finally. Everyone's kind of going to be on board. That's going to be super cool. Sig Newton's going to got the guys rolling over there, and that's going to be super cool. But there's really not a lot of like, wow, look at this game. Like, there's some here and there games, right? But I feel like that's been the last couple. There's one badass game, and then there's like 3 or 4. It's like, I'll switch. I'll swap through channels here. So I want to get into kind of what you guys are thinking game wise this week is something that's standing out. But I want to avoid like the ranked games. Like, let's see some unranked games that, damn, like, hey, these guys this might be a fucking good ball game here with playoff implications, with conference, opportunities. So I kind of want to go through there and look at some of them. I got a couple on my mind as I'm scrolling through this now, but I just want to kind of get you guys' ideas on that realm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough because there's not a ton of as I go through, there's not a ton of important unranked games going on, right? You think of ranked teams, you think of they're probably top of their division or top of their conference. This is kind of what we're working with. You got to see who's coming out on top. There's some teams like, for example, I know UNLV is kind of probably right outside of the top 25, but that Boise State UNLV game is going to be kind of very important for the Mountain West Conference and who's going to be at the top of that. So I think that's going to be huge. You're looking at those 2. I think you only have 4 undefeated teams in that conference: Colorado State, San Diego State, UNLV, and Boise State. UNLV is kind of crazy, even with the controversy of all the players and things that are going on over there. They're still maintaining, right, which is absolutely nuts. That's an extremely late game for us East Coasters. 10:30, which is kind of cool. You can catch one. Maybe you stay up for it. You probably, Zach, you'll probably be up for that one.
Hell yeah. On a Friday, watching the boys? Hell yeah.
I'd say mine, I know you said avoid rank, but I think kind of going off Jordan's thing too, that SMU Duke game is big for the ACC, right? Duke's not ranked, but they're both sitting at
Right at
6 and
top.
1. And you got,
Pretty own conference.
if Duke wins, then they've got the same conference record, right? Like, so that's got some ACC implications for it. I know, again, SMU being ranked, but I still think that's an
Well,
important conference.
maybe even I'll take it back rank. But like I was just thinking of more trying to broaden the spectrum because I feel like this week is just going to be one of them turning points for the conferences. Like there's going to be that leader now. Like after this week, I think we really need to start looking at conferences because there's a lot of undefeated teams that we see that are kind of creeping into top 25 and or are in top 25 that really can make a huge play in conference and also in a 12-team playoff and taking some of these spots from these 2-loss SEC teams because they have a conference championship or they're undefeated, and things like that. So it's just interesting to see. I go through here and I don't know. The Big 12 just is crazy to me. Like these two teams on top are like absolutely not even close to the teams that I would ever think are in there. I mean, even look at the Texas Tech Red Raiders. They haven't had good seasons in a long time. 3-1 sitting there. Cincinnati 3-1 first year in the Big 12. Colorado still at 3-1. I feel like everyone fell off of them. Like, so there's a lot of good games that are kind of sprinkling in here, man.
Dartmouth and Columbia in the Ivy League, man.
Getting after it, ain't they?
5-0 versus 4-1, same Ivy League record.
They take the bar exam at fucking halftime. Well, how does that work? Something like that.
Possibly. I mean, they're smarter than me. I don't know.
Like, yeah, they're way smarter.
I mean, it's also going to be another week, which is every week it seems like until the end of the season. But the SEC is just going to beat each other up. Man, I know it's a lot of ranked games. Missouri, Alabama is probably more important than people think. Texas, Vanderbilt, you know what I mean? You've got LSU, Texas A&M, which is even bigger than the others. So, man, dude, I think also we're firmly in separation time, right? I know the SEC is going to do their thing and beat each other up. I don't think there was any question, at least the way it stands right now. And you look at the Big Ten, you've got IU, Oregon, Penn State, Illinois, Wisconsin, Ohio State, all sitting up at the top 6 of the Big Ten. Wisconsin plays Penn State. There's a top 6 matchup. Illinois plays Oregon, right? There's a top 6 matchup. So you've got these games that are just going to determine the rest of the season and who really comes out on some of these things and gets that automatic bid for winning the conference.
Yeah, who wants it, right? I love it. No, dude, this is a week. There's not a lot of marquee games like we're saying, but this is a week that you start seeing separation. Let's go back to that Missouri-Alabama game. Honestly, I see a Missouri taking a win here and putting Alabama at 3-loss.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
I mean, dude, Missouri is they have a defense, and that's the thing that Alabama does not have. And Alabama has to play from a lead for Jalen Milroe to be a good football player and do what he's best at. And if they don't play from a lead, it's going to be bad news Bears. And, they're sitting 6-1, and they haven't played a awfully easy schedule either, right?
Yeah.
They've got they have Auburn win, Texas A&M they lost, but that's their worst loss. But it's not a terrible schedule, but it's not an easy schedule. So this will be a good telltale. Hey, Alabama,
on the plus side, Jordan,
going to Roll Tide, baby.
For the Oregon-Illinois game, Oregon is only a 91.5% favorite to win.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
that's nuts.
We got a chance.
Speaking of a chance to win, I don't like them giving 12.5 points to Notre Dame at Navy at MetLife Stadium. 12.5 points. That's a huge spread. If you're a bettor, I'd take the under on that all day long. Notre Dame has a problem. Notre Dame has a problem with that triple option every single year. No matter how high they're ranked, no matter good they are, Notre Dame comes in. It takes until about the third quarter to start figuring it out. They start doing a 3-4 with the drop linebackers. They start crashing ends. And we have who's our biggest injuries, right? Our DNs. We have both DNs are gone. Our corner's gone. So I mean, that's going to be not an easy game. It's not going to be 12.5 points. There ain't no fucking way in hell. You got me messed up on that.
Yeah, we'll see, dude. I don't
I'm
know.
pumped for it though. I'm freaking pumped because I'm glad Navy's good. Because now we can get back to the rivalry. Like this is when I remember watching in high school and even in elementary, is like turning it on. Oh, Notre Dame's playing Navy. Navy's at Notre Dame Stadium, and slobber knocker like a 15-10 game. Like it's a stupid points, low scoring, beating the hell out of each other. Like I miss those back and forth. They trade and paint pretty much every year.
I just don't understand why they don't just put a team of SEALs out there. They'd win every game.
Oh, but damn right, toughest son of a bitch out there. Mm-hmm.
So,
I love it.
bunch of psychos with their long beards just out there.
Yeah,
so
man.
Dan, what would it take for Illinois to go to Eugene and take a win out of it?
Man, it would, like I said, it would take luck because it's going to take something that Oregon's not, again, that overall they've not done a lot of, which is turn the ball over.
Yeah,
right.
Both these teams don't turn the ball over very much.
Yeah, I've talked quite a few times at the beginning of the year, and I mean, still stand with it. Their quarterback, 77% completion percentage, 4 interceptions, which is whatever. But I mean, they take care of the ball. So that, that's Illinois has gotten a lot of momentum in games this year off of some good turnovers. So they're going to have to do something uncharacteristic for themselves. It's going to take good discipline with the penalties. Like Illinois succumbed to that pretty badly when they played at Penn State, right? They let penalties really kill them as they were already starting to fall behind, and the penalties just compounded. So it's going to take discipline play. It's going to take a little luck, and it's going to take, I think, just creating some kind of turnover. And it's going to take their defense to do what they were doing at the beginning of the year, which was as flexible as they were on some plays. They had a good streak of, as soon as they got to the red zone, it was like lockdown and they were shutting people out. They kind of have gotten, too flexible in that respect in the red zone. So like that defense has got to stiffen up. I did hear when they were playing Michigan that one thing is they have some of the more undersized defensive linemen in the Big Ten. Like the guy was saying, like they come in at like and he laughed. He goes, 260, 270. He goes, but for Big Ten like defensive line, like they're undersized, and I think you can kind of tell in some of these games where like they struggle to get through some of these offensive lines the way that you see like a Penn State or another Big Ten defense do. And I don't know if that's all part of it. It's just they've got some things working against them, and it's kind of got to just all come together, I think is what it is. It's just got to be kind of one of those moments.
Yeah, they're lacking the big boys up front.
I think if they can get pressure. They had 5 sacks last week, right? Against Michigan, which is great. If they can do that. But that's also the pressure is where Gabriel's kind of the most dangerous outside the pocket, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they can run the ball. Oregon, so it's like it's gonna. I don't know if I would give Oregon 25 be a 25-point favorite. That's bananas to me.
That's a huge margin
for being a ranked matchup, number 1
against
number
teams.
20. Yeah,
I see it kind of
crazy.
Maybe being like a Penn State, that what I mean. Like if they lose, like I think the score will at least be like not like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, they're not gonna
like a
Oregon's not gonna do what they did
24-10 type thing. Like,
well, here's my concern is I can tell you firsthand, Penn State is not Oregon's offense, and Oregon's offense is 10 times more explosive than Penn State's. So, and that's gonna be our Oregon football is. We're fast. We're gonna run momentum. We're gonna have our tempo up. We're gonna do it
just this week, because
that's fine, and that's hopefully maybe you guys can continue that trend, because I thought Michigan was a hell of a lot of a different team than what they showed up with.
They are not who we thought they were.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
We're not gonna crown them.
Yeah. Trust me, I'd love to see Illinois take down Oregon. That just makes.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun for the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, like a piece of solace for me is I think, like, let's say they do lose this, the rest of their schedule is very winnable for them.
Mm-hmm.
and a 2-loss season for Illinois. Like, I mean, that's a national championship in itself.
In a
Because
bowl
I
game,
want to say
especially.
the last time they were like they did really well, and like we're talking back 2007, like Juice Williams there, they went to the Rose Bowl. I think
Mm-hmm.
they were a 2 or 3 loss team. You know what I mean? Like, and these are, and I don't, like I said, my thing is I don't care. Let one season's one season. What I want to see is like, let's make this repeatable, right? Let's make this level of play more repeatable for them.
All right.
Well, I think you got the coach to do it.
Yeah, you got the boys buzzing. You guys are all right. You got
We'll
the boys
see.
buzzing. Speaking of Michigan, this is the one game that I'm kind of pumped up to watch because Michigan State at Michigan, a one that Michigan State could easily steal like they used to back in the day, before they turned into a big power of Michigan. So this would be a fun game. They're both 4-3, not having a good season. So this is probably the most level the rosters have probably ever been in a long time. So it might be a hell of a ball game to watch, as well as a game that has both 3-1 teams in the Big 12. Is Cincinnati going to Colorado at 10:15 at night. It's going to be a huge game. Colorado has a hell of an advantage there being at home with their rowdy crowd, but one of them games, and at nighttime too, it's kind of lingering and like, oh shoot, man, this might be a ball game.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a damn ball game. I guess Travis Hunter should be back playing, they say, so that'd be interesting to see there. A couple games there.
Here's one thing I want to say about IU again, though, is I guess Rourke was out. He was taken out of the game last week with a hand injury. So I'm hoping. I heard he's not going to be playing this week. So
yep, I heard the same thing.
That could be detrimental, but I mean, Signetti's got him. He's got that team locked in. I don't care who's at quarterback.
Yeah, right now, is the next man in mentality has to be flowing through, and they really don't give a rat's ass. I don't think about anything. Like, I think they're a buzzsaw. Whoever's running that offense.
Yep, I agree.
So some ranked games that are damn good. Obviously, the LSU, Texas A&M. I'm rooting for Texas A&M here as a Notre Dame fan. I really like to see them take the top spot of the SEC right now.
Makes them look better.
And it makes them Notre Dame look like, damn, like you all did that in Kyle Station. Like, here we go, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So no, it'd be pretty sweet to watch that. That'd be a 7:30 game. I'll be flipping between that and Penn State. Definitely those two games. I'll be watching them for sure. But yeah, other than that, like, there's not anything too exciting. We touched on the Alabama, Missouri, Oregon, Illinois, Notre Dame, Navy. I mean, we can kind of
SMU Duke,
SMU Duke, Boise State going to Vegas, playing inside that beautiful dome, and a scary little matchup on Thursday, Syracuse Pittsburgh. That's an ACC matchup right there. That's to keep eyes on there.
I'd kind of like to see Vanderbilt just for shits and giggles, just upset Texas, like and then just I don't even care. They could claim the rest of the season out. They just come in, rattle some stuff up, and then just be. You know how mad the school's going to be if they have to go fish another goalpost out of a river.
Yeah, at 4:15, it'd be in Nashville right before sunset. Just fishing fucking goalposts out. They get fined a ton of money, man, a ton of money for ripping that damn thing down.
Well, what other schools? Tennessee or whatever. I saw a joke. They were like the distance traveled for the Vanderbilt thing was like whatever, and they were like the Tennessee one was like 20 feet. Like they just couldn't.
That's funny. I love it. Let's get into some standout players of this past week. Jordan, I'm going to start with you, man. Oh. Give me what you got. Tell the people who we need to be paying attention to here.
I don't know if you need to be paying attention to him, but I want to shout him out just because of his father. Jalen Kitna from UAB, QB from UAB.
Here we go.
Son of the late, well, he's not late. He's the great John Kitna. I don't know if you guys know who John Kitna is. Fantastic QB from back in the day.
Educate me, baby. Educate me.
Just an absolute, like, kind of like
the Lions at one point, didn't he?
Exactly. He played he's a journeyman for sure, 100%. But you threw him in there, and he was gritty. He got you some games if you needed him. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he started. The only reason he did start was because of backup, and somebody went down. But I wanted to shout him out. UAB, they lost to USF, but he threw 56 times, completed 33 of them for 384 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. So I just thought it was cool I saw the last name and I was like, there's no way. Looked it up.
Jordan,
Lo
little Kitna trivia.
and behold, that he was the son of the great John Kidna. So
Here's some John Kitna trivia. Do you know what team he played for in between his tenure with the Seahawks and the Bengals?
the 49ers.
Nope.
Damn.
The Barcelona Dragons.
There you go, Barcelona Dragons.
Man of the world traveler.
He's a journeyman for sure.
Yeah, the Cowboys, the Lions, the Bengals, and the Seahawks.
Yeah, dude. He was a little bit everywhere.
There you
But
go.
yeah, that's
Hey,
my man. I just want to throw him out there. I thought that was
shout
really,
out.
really cool, dude.
I love
Really,
to hear
really
it. Yeah, that's badass, man. Look at you get a little history lesson here on the old Winning Edge podcast, baby.
He
How
had
we doing?
99 career touchdowns.
cool. Yeah. He went in there. He was in there when he had to be.
That's right.
He's no Tim Couch, but I mean,
well, no, he is. He's better.
He's better.
I remember somebody
go
wearing
ahead,
a Tim
Dan.
Couch jersey, not a John Kitna jersey.
Dan, you got somebody we need to be shouting out?
I do, and you need to watch for him this week coming up. The man's name is Deshaun Peel. Last week, 2 interceptions for 145 yards and 2 touchdowns. Navy cornerback.
Shit.
That's
What
impressive.
Do you know his jersey number so I can pay attention to his ass?
Yeah, number 1.
Number 8. Number 1. Fuck.
Yep.
He's a dog. He's a fucking dog. All right.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Yep.
Damn.
He's got 3 interceptions this year, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns. Averages 55 yards every time he picks the ball.
Jeez.
So not a lot, but when he gets a pick,
he trying to house that motherfucker.
But that's pretty impressive for 2 interceptions to get what some offensive players can't rack up in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt.
And both times to get points off of it is impressive.
Hell yeah. Damn.
As I was looking through, before you get to yours, Zach, I was looking through a lot of the leaders for week 8, just passing leaders, rushing leaders, receiving, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of the big schools in there. And that's something I think is really cool because they give you the top 10, they'll break it down. But, you've got the Virginia Tech, UCF, Memphis, Marshall, Army, UCF, again, UTEP, Tulane, Tennessee is in there, which is the only big name school that I can see. You've got ECU, EMU, Wyoming, Nevada, Bowling Green. It's just, I was looking, I was like, this is kind of a big week for those smaller schools, for those individual outputs of stats, which is very, very cool to see. You don't see the studs come in. Of course, they're all playing each other now, which is another reason. But
yeah, talent level goes down a little, or is going way up, and production is going to go down a little bit because it's a lot harder to play against these guys.
You see that
like
adversity.
The NFL, man.
Yep.
No, that's badass. It is good. It is nice to see, and that's why I think college football is so much fun. And I'll touch on this a little later here in the podcast about the NFL and how my thoughts and feelings are right now about the NFL. So, I have a very special person that I just learned about a couple days ago going through this. Terrence Carter, tight end from the University of Louisiana, Raging Cajuns. They're sitting at 6-1. This man had a fucking game. Listen to these stats here. He had 7 receptions for 149 yards. He had 21.3 yards per reception. Almost an attempt, but same thing. And a tutty, man. Helped his team win. Take a 34-30. Oh, no, I read that wrong. 34-20 win over Colorado, I think, State, I believe. Cool to see a tight end of these little schools like we're talking about, putting up a 150 and a tutty, and on a really good team. It looks like 6-1 Raging Cajuns. I mean, I'm trying to look at their schedule here and who they played.
I believe that's the team that Red Boyu coached when they had to fit, back when they had the rivalry with the SCLSU Mud Dogs.
There we go. Yeah, the only losses to Tulane. They've beaten Wake Forest. They've beaten Southern Miss, Appalachian State, and Coastal Carolina, who they just beat last week. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, hey, damn. He had 104 the game before, 64 and 2 tutties the game after that. Like, good God. Look at this guy. Terrence Carter, man. Mr. Carter. The Carter 5. Okay, that was a good album. But I just thought it was cool to see a tight end putting up some big numbers like that.
Mm-hmm. For
Love
sure.
to see it. Love to see it. Oh, my. Another receiver that's killing it. All these little schools, man. Utah State Aggies, Jalen Royals.
You had quite a few. I was looking receiving leaders. There's quite a few tight ends in the top 10, which is nice.
Yeah, good.
Three of the top 10 are tight ends, which is awesome.
Which shows that style of play is no longer blocking. I mean, I know we're kind of far from that now, but
yeah,
but still, you got to have the vertical threat. Notre Dame uses them a lot. These dink and dunk type of situations. So go tight ends. I love a good tight end. I could do both, blocking and scoring tutties.
Got that right.
So college football, that kind of wraps it up for me.
For sure.
Unless you guys have anything else college football, we can switch over to NFL quick. And kind of chat about that because
I don't want to hear about this. I want to hear what you got to say about the NFL because I have a feeling we're gonna agree, but I want to hear what your take is.
All right. Well, here's my take. This past Sunday, watching some football, trying to enjoy it. This first Sunday since the NFL season started that I actually had to be able to sit at home and just watch some ball, just hang out, and didn't have to go coach CFL and things like that. So I was pumped, sitting around watching some football. First, let me start with the Indianapolis Colts. What in the fuck are we doing? Okay, Joe Flacco, keep him in. He's rolling. Our offense was scoring points, dominating people. We barely scoot fucking 6 points on a Miami Dolphins team that has, I think, their third string freaking quarterback in. Tyreek Hill didn't even have any pass attempts to him after halftime. So I just don't understand. That pisses me off. Keep Joey Flacco in. Bench AR. Let him learn something. Give him some chance to even just develop a second. That pisses me off. Okay? Then that's a 1:00 game. Then I'm watching these other games. I was bored out of my fucking mind watching all the other games, even the Kansas City game. I'm getting to the point right now where the NFL, I turn it on and I'm on my phone more than I'm actually in tune to the game.
Yeah.
Even the big matchups like tonight, Baltimore, Tampa Bay. 3 seconds in, I was like, all right, whatever. I know who's gonna win. Like, we're done. Like, there's no like, oh shit, on the edge of my seat. Like, it just lately, I don't know if it's just me this season or what it is, but I'm having a tough time staying in tune to these football games on the NFL side. It's bothering me.
I had a feeling you're going to go that way. I can kind of echo that same thing. It doesn't. The NFL for me hasn't hit the same as college football in a long time. And that's not to say that there's, the talent. Giants could be good, they could be bad. They've been bad for a while, so I get that, and that's just like a personal thing, right? So,
but you're still an overall football fan.
Yeah, overall, like at the end of the day, I don't watch much. I'll be honest with you. Sundays, I don't watch a ton of NFL football. I don't. But when it comes to the reasoning for that, it doesn't feel like any of it matters until playoffs, right? For me, it's like I'm not going to watch until we get to the playoffs because it's a crapshoot. It's not like you're like, oh, let's see what happens. Oh, there's a giant upset. The Saints beat the Broncos, or or whatever, right? Like the Jaguars beat the Patriots, but you're like, who gives a shit? They're 2-5 and 1-6. Like, but there's such a bigger gap, I think, sooner with the NFL. So you get your top teams. You're like, hey, all these teams are good. This is probably what the playoffs are going to look like. And then you got the bottom teams. You're like, all right, who's going to tank for the number one pick, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That feels like that's the case. The NFL for me hasn't been there for a while. Again, that's removing myself of a Giants fan. My team is not great. That's fine. But it hasn't been exciting for a long time.
Product. I mean, like, we start the season off with the Saints dominating people and we thought they were the shit. Now they've only won 2 games. Or you got the Cowboys who spend all this money on all these great players and they can't win the games. And there's just like, I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me that, like, it's just so, I think the talent gap is I should say, talent gap. Like, there's just, everyone's so fucking good. It's almost like the NBA now. Like, it's just almost hard to watch the NBA because, like, what are you watching? You're just watching them shoot around at this point? Because, like, there's no, like, competitiveness, I feel like, right now. And everyone gets hurt so fucking often. And even in college, they're not getting hurt that often. I mean, I understand these are grown men beating the hell out of each other. I get that. Like, trust me, I totally understand it. But it's just all in hindsight. It's like it's hard to watch. Like, and then we keep talking about we need more games throughout the regular season. We need more. We need to expand. I'm like, holy shit! Like,
No, you can reel it back anytime they want. Pull that shit
like,
back.
go back to the 14, 15 games in regular season. Now you got 18 games in regular season. You got 4 games on a Monday night. You got 2 games on Thursday night, and you try to get a Sunday slate in. And then in playoff time, you got Saturdays and Fridays, and it's just like, holy cow.
I will say that the NFC North as a division as a whole right now, though, is looking good.
Yeah, they're playing good football. So I was watching the Pittsburgh game last night, Sunday Night Football. I was trying to reel it down, hang out, relax, watch some ball, and I was like, oh hell yeah, the headlines, right? They're getting me. It's almost like an Amazon reel. I was like, ooh, check out this flash deal, right? Oh hell yeah, let me tune into this, right? So Aaron Rodgers, you got Devontae Adams coming back. Holy shit! Oh man, Russell Wilson's gonna get his first start. I'm like, I'm gonna tune into this, and I was like, this is a boring ass football game. Like, they ran the ball twice and then throw a 50-50 ball up. Oh, incomplete. Oh, no, wow, they complete that one. Wow, okay, that one's cool. It's just like, I don't know. It's just it's really tough for me right now. I'm in a weird spot where like I'd rather just watch college football.
Yep.
College
I
football,
agree.
they're playing like that. If we can get Ohio State, and we almost get it almost every single week, an Ohio State Oregon type of game. I mean, hell, that Tennessee Alabama game was down to the wire, man. We had no idea what was going to fucking happen. NFL is just predictable, and it's tough, and it's turning into more of a entertainment business. Obviously, is what they label themselves as, and I just hope it doesn't get to the point of like a WWE. I'm not saying it's rigged and it's fixed. Yeah, I'm not saying it's rigged or it's fixed, but it just seems like that also at the same time.
Wait,
like it's
rigged,
just,
fixed.
I know. I fought with Tanner about this last year on the podcast.
It's super real. Mr. McMahon died in that car explosion, and then
I'm
miraculously came
talking
back.
about the NFL, not WWE, man. I know that shit's real.
And Kane and the Undertaker were definitely brothers.
Yeah,
Hell no.
here's the thing: is the NFL fills a gap for those. It's obviously makes money, right? It's a huge industry,
yeah.
and it is what it is, right? I don't the fixed and script and those conversations. I don't know if they irritate me, right? But I don't know, man. I think it's more of it comes down to a personal level of things where it's just like right now, the Chargers Cardinals, it's 3-0 going into halftime, right? So or in the second quarter, I'm sorry. But like I don't know, man. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is, but I look at that Ravens and Buccaneers game and I'm like, okay, it's 17-10 at halftime. That's a good game, 2-4-2 teams. That's awesome. Or they're both highly touted to, be up there and make the playoffs probably and make a run. But I don't know, man. I can't put my finger on it. The NFL hasn't been there for me in a long time. College football is more enjoyable to watch. I don't know why that is. Granted, I don't get upset nearly as much as some of these other fans, especially those Texas fans throwing those bottles onto the field.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, dude, the college football has just been there for a while. I think it's also amplified by the college football video game a little bit for me because interacting two of those things that I love to do at the same time, where a game that's been gone for 11 years comes back.
Yeah, now you can be a part of it.
Right. It does help when your teams are good, but if you can take a step back and ignore that fact, would we be as excited to talk about college football if Notre Dame was 1-6, Penn State was 1-6, and Illinois was 1-6 like they usually are?
Well, okay. First of all, you didn't need to throw that.
I did. I was just waiting, dude. I was just waiting. But like, for real though, if that was the case, if all of our teams were absolute shit, right? Like if we were all Florida State for the year, you know what I mean? Like how would we be just as excited about some of these other games as we are? All of our teams are ranked, and you know what I mean? That's kind of crazy. My team's third in the country, which is nuts. So I don't know. I wonder how it goes. I don't know if it is maybe part of that for our.
Would you
the
like
Colts
me
are
to share? Speaking as someone who usually has whose team usually is 1-6. I find it a lot easier to get invested in something else with college football, right? Than if the Bears are terrible. Like if the Bears aren't doing well, I don't care about the NFL. Like with
Yeah.
college, it's still fun to see other stuff, even when I know Illinois is not going to do well. And I
Yeah.
think it's because, like, with college, we see it every week. Like, doesn't matter what all the stats and the analytics and the history and the whatever, like, set, like, it's always unpredictable at any given moment. Whereas the
Yeah.
NFL, like, it has its things, but overall, you can kind of predict a general arc or, trajectory or whatever for teams. And the thing with college is, like, one game has way more impact on the season than an NFL game, right? Like, you can lose one game in the NFL and still win the Super Bowl. You can lose a lot of games in the NFL to win the Super Bowl. Like, with college,
Right now you lose 2 games,
there's
you're on a
teams where,
chance
like,
of not
that
even
one
making the
loss could
fucking
be the
conference.
difference between being in the playoff and not.
Yeah. So
I think that there's more of a stake, there's more emotional investment in every game. I think there's more at stake in every game. You've got people like, you said, like, these people, you're watching people that, like, 2 weeks ago, no one may have ever heard of this person. Like, then, I don't know, like, the
the
NFL,
storyline.
and if you follow it even halfway, like, half the names you at least recognize just because, like, it's hard to just come out of nowhere and you know, like, who the hell is this guy? Like, it doesn't happen as much.
Yeah. Oh, Arizona just scored. Holy shit, we got some movement, boys. So my thing is, and like you touched on, like, all of our teams are ranked and whatnot, which is sweet. But if you guys haven't known me too long, but like I've always been like a football nut. Like, I don't give a shit. My team can suck ass, but I'm like dialed in. Like, I'm looking at people's stats and, like, this is how I'm wired and how I do it.
Mhm.
But you're right. Like, if your team sucks, it's tough to get involved.
Yeah.
And right now, I think that might be a little bit what I'm feeling. Just with the Colts, I can't say they suck, but they're not great right now. They're not.
Yeah.
I just don't understand what needs to happen on Indianapolis. I think we need a defense. That would help out a lot. But yeah, I don't know. It's just tough right now, and like, there's no. It almost feels like it's preseason still.
Mhm.
That's exactly how I feel right now. It feels like it's preseason football, and none of this shit matters because we got 15 more games to play, and before we even reach the playoffs. So it's just like, how many more games have we got actually?
11.
So
11 or
yeah,
12.
all right, we got 11 more fucking weeks of football in the NFL before we, like, maybe six weeks from now, I'll probably be saying something different because, oh shit, this team is 12-5, or this 12, now we're getting rolling. Now here we go. Like, so
Mhm.
obviously my math's not good because 12-5 is a lot more than
I know
11.
what you mean.
But
I know
you
what
get
you
what
mean.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
But with that being said,
That's for nerds. You're not. It's fine.
nah, I'm not a mather. That is
Hey,
not
maybe
me.
you'll change your tune when the three of us get going on Madden 25 trying to turn around a franchise. Dan gets
You know what?
fired. Well, it'll be great.
Maybe
You know what?
that's all we need right now. Maybe we need a little Madden 25. Come on.
You know what? The Lions came to regret that in spades because you know what happened? I got hired by a rival team. I stole the cream of the crop of their roster, and then went on to lose to Jordan in the Super Bowl every year. And even when I won, I still didn't get Coach of the Year. Jordan got it.
Hell yeah. Dude, how about Amari Cooper, his new team, first week going out scoring tutty?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this shows you how fucking bad the Browns are. And then their ridiculously expensive quarterback goes down. Sucks. He got hurt.
Model citizen
And a great role model to all young male people.
Can we talk about that real quick? If we want to dig into that, the Deshaun Watson
stuff. I want. Do you have his contract shit pulled up? Because it is
I know
unbelievable.
he makes 72 point something million a year, and he's going to be for next year and the year after that.
And if they try to get rid of him, he's guaranteed, like, I think
it's
like 200 per year or some shit.
No, he gets that money. Yeah, that money is 100% his. No matter what, there's 72 million coming off the cap.
How the fuck does that work?
Explain that to me. Dude. It's a contract he signed. It was all guaranteed money. Stupid.
I know, but who's his fucking agent, and who I need to sign him and get him in me.
He's got legal bills he's got to pay. Okay,
I guess.
Man, dude. Huh. But anyways, the Browns are going to be bad for another 3 years.
Long
4 or 5 years probably.
I would say I would go even larger. They have 4 and 5 because, dude, you are so financially fucked.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get out of it. You're locked. Like, there's no way to get out of that right now. And if I was a good player like Myles Garrett, I'd be like, fucking trade me.
Get me out of here.
Fuck out of here.
Yep. Mm-hmm,
send me to Detroit.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'd love to see that.
And honestly, I'm a Colts fan. Whoop, whoop. Go Colts, right? Fuck yeah. But Detroit right now, it's hard not to cheer for the Detroit Lions. I am gonna be not a fanboy, but or a bandwagon jump on. But I live in the state of Michigan. The people are buzzing up here about the Detroit Lions, and they're super pumped. And like Dan alluded to, the NFC North is fucking good. Like every single team is good, and they're playing their best ball right now because they know one game loss right now, and they get separated in the division.
Well,
And
three
it's like,
teams are good. One team is inexplicably lucky because they're just awful people from an awful state.
the Packers played great last week. What's wrong? You all right?
I refuse.
The Bears had a
No,
bye week last week, right?
yeah, when we killed it, we crushed it, dude.
Hell yeah. So with that, how do you think Caleb Williams is going to respond for his first bye week? Like, how do you think he's going to look next week?
I mean, I hope he's going to continue to do what he did, which is he's showing some signs of progression, like in growth. You know what I mean? Like, is he still? I mean, has he come out in any game and been like, the savior that everybody has? No, but
Right.
I don't know what
they play Washington. I mean,
whatever that meeting was that him and Komet or whatever had with the coordinator, whatever it is. Since then, there's been measurable like signs of improvement every game between him and his offense, and I'll take that, right? Like show me improvement. Like stagnation or just wild all over the place like is tough, but like even if it's small, if it's consistent signs of improvement, like I'll take that. I still think they need to get rid of their coach this season regardless of how the season shakes out. I just don't think he's the coach.
But don't be an idiot and just wait until the after the season at this point. Like,
Yeah, well,
like
yeah,
the
that's
Jets,
what I mean,
like what the fuck did firing that coach do?
because
It
that
made your
might
defense worse. Like, good job, Jets. You guys are idiots.
because I mean, if you look at like clearly, like the coaching is still a problem because, like I said, like your players shouldn't have to like corner, the coaching staff in a room and go, "What are you doing?" Like, you know what I mean, and kind of
Yeah.
take things into their own hands. So if you want to continue that development for him, you need to get the coaching stuff in order. I
don't
think
know.
they've
Right.
got pieces in place where like I hope they continue to be smart because like they can put all their draft capital this draft into finally doing something with their line. Like they've got DJ Moore locked down to a contract. They've got a Jones for the next couple of years. Keenan
Yeah.
Allen, I mean that's a different story, but they've got at least two receivers. Like they've got a quarterback. They've got some anchor pieces on defense at least for the next couple of years on contract. Like get that line fixed, get the coaching situation fixed. Like
You went from my question of saying how they're gonna look next week after the bye to the fucking off season already. Like you're selling the season already, Dan? You're done? You quit?
no, I'm just saying like it's all
okay.
the momentum is all going there. Is all like theirs to continue to carry.
No,
Like
for
you know
sure.
what I mean? Like
I'm with you. I'm just fucking picking on you, dude.
their trajectory is going up, and it's up to them to continue to allow it to do that. I think a bye week's good. I think it's good for everybody. It gives everybody a chance to recuperate a little bit. Obviously, like Keenan Allen just getting back into the fold, like with his injuries already this season, like I think it's good altogether.
And thank God the NFL realized that they didn't want to watch the Jaguars on Sunday Night Football in Week 9 and flex the Indianapolis Colts to play the Minnesota Vikings, so we can watch AR overthrow a fucking 5-yard drag route, or we can watch AR get hurt because he's just a big fucking baby.
Speaking of big babies, I loved all the pictures of Devontae Adams with his just sour ass look on his face because going to the jet like, yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
He at least he can't say that it was the same issue in Vegas, which he was always complaining he wasn't getting targets. He was targeted 9 times, just didn't catch it.
Well, that's like the thing. Like you're telling me Garrett Wilson, a good receiver. I can't say one of the best, but a damn good receiver in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers puts the most perfect ball on it, right in his shoulder, man, and it bounces off his fucking shoulder pad and gets picked. Like that's the shit that just blows my mind. This is professional athletes. That shit doesn't happen in college that often. Like you're telling me. I don't know, man. I fucking just don't understand it. Like there has to be another figure larger than them above fucking playing puppets at this point. Like none of this shit seems real. It just bothers me. Jordan doesn't want to talk about it. He's bad.
No, what I want to talk about is back to Deshaun Watson.
Yes, let's go.
And the cheering that the Browns fans were doing
When he got hurt.
Yeah, that was fucked.
Oh.
That's fucked.
I am of the mind that it's not as fucked as you think. So if somebody has 20 women alleged sexual misconduct during massage therapy sessions and you settle with 23 of 24 women in 2022, I don't give a flying fuck if you blow out your knee or any of your ACL, MCL. I don't care if your
It's
leg
just karma, baby.
I don't care if your leg becomes detached. At that point, I don't care. So
Jordan, he only gave them the money because he's a model citizen. He just wanted to help them out.
right, correct. Yes, I agree. So like if that is the case, you know what I mean? Like I don't care. And that is karma. You're right. Goodbye. See you later. Nice try. But he's still getting paid. So is it? He just doesn't have to try now. Not that he was.
He can do what he fucking was doing, sitting in that suite or whatever. After the last year watching Joe Flacco take it, he was just sitting in his suite, chilling, loving it, getting paid.
Yep. Just gonna
living his life.
Just making $73 million a year.
And there's people that came and get fucking food for their kids and shit. And you,
right? And this guy who is
you think you're larger than life, and we keep enabling that action.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
As a race, as human race right now. Like it's
them
fucked.
cheering, I probably would have cheered. I would have cheered as well if I would have been in the stadium. So
okay, so yeah, you're in Cleveland. He goes down. They bring the stretcher out, and you're at the game. You're like, fuck yeah, as a Browns fan.
No, I mean, not as a Browns fan, that's a terrible human being, and I'm glad terrible things are finally happening to him rather than the money he's getting.
My wife always gets mad at me because I always look for instant karma because I just get so pissed off when people do dumb shit and it seems like they live their whole life and like nothing fucking happens to them.
Yeah.
And then I get fucked every day. It seems like.
I see what you mean.
But like I want instant karma so fucking bad sometimes that like it never works that way. But like here you go, right? Like you said, it sucks. Yeah, dude, it sucks. Now you're gonna have to rehab and all this other shit. But you know what? You do bad things and you play with the fucking devil. Guess what? You're gonna get fucking struck.
Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Dude, Taylor Swift, like there. Look at this guy, huh? T Switty? Hey, Taylor Swift's coming to Indianapolis here soon, boys and girls. She's looking real nice on the side of that Marriott downtown Indianapolis. If y'all drive by, check it out.
I'm sure if we all cashed out every bit of money and property and real estate and everything we have, we might be able to get the last row tickets.
You know, yeah, I mean, we can just cash all of our 401ks out, and then maybe we'll be able to all share a seat.
Maybe we'll get a parking pass because fucking tickets are obscene.
Yeah, it's nuts. Good for her though. She's making money, doing her thing. She's a good person.
Also, on the Deshaun Watson stuff, people coming out to defend him. One of them is my GOAT of all time, the greatest of all time, which is LeBron James, the basketball player. I know we can have that debate some other time. Came out on Twitter saying he said Cleveland fans, we've been through so much throughout the years, both good and bad and indifferent. With that being said, booing anyone that's down with an injury, let alone your own player, is lame as fuck. You're so detached from the entire situation, you bag of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like the fact that you are like, we don't boo somebody like that. Did you not understand what this dickhead went through? You know what I mean? Like
they tried playing it off like nothing happened.
And then secondly, what's his name? Jameis Winston's response. I don't know if you saw that one. If you get a chance, please go ahead and watch that interview. Oh my God, dude. I cannot stand that man. Right?
Jameis Winston, he's a hell of a fucking pregame speaker. You tell me he had a bad presser?
Dude.
Makes you miss the
Go ahead.
It makes you miss the simple days of Ray Rice. Like he punched a lady, back when it was simple, and now we got Jameis Winston, who's accused of assaulting women, stealing things, whatever, defending another.
They signed him a fucking $230 million guaranteed contract, knowing all these allegations were allegations, regardless of true or not at the time. And guess what? He also hasn't played football in fucking like 18 months prior to him getting fucking signed all this money.
He also got suspended by the NFL for 11 games. So it's like you don't just get these things just don't happen.
So Cleveland,
we'll see.
You might as well sign 5 guys from the stadium and give them $100,000 and try to throw the fucking football at that point. Like what the fuck are you doing to your franchise? Who approved that?
So Jameis Winston came out and said,
"Let's hear Jameis Winston."
He said, the way I was raised, I was taught to love no matter the circumstances, especially with the people who do right by you. I'm grateful to have a chance to serve Deshaun, but I'm very upset with the reaction to a man that has had the world against him for the past 4 years, and he put his body and life on the line for the city every single day. I don't want to fucking hear that shit.
The
He's
world
had the
against
world
you?
against him. Who asked for that shit? And you sexually assaulted 24 fucking women.
24 women felt
Don't
so
wanna hear that
goddamn uncomfortable and so fucking out of place. They had to come out and reach out and try to get this man in fucking jail because that's where he belonged. But guess what? He's an NFL player, baby. Hey, guess what? He's fucking bigger than life, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And all those women get discredited. Now, granted, not all those women are probably great people and they probably saw a money grab. Maybe, possibly, but if there's still some type of evidence that goes into it saying, even if they fucking touched her wrong, it doesn't have to sexually assault her. Well, I guess that is sexual assault, but regardless, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be like they had it intercourse.
Even if it's as simple as he tried to make it sound like, which is he humped the air near him, like that's still weird.
Like
as fuck.
provocative shit.
It's still
and guess
weird.
what? Get the fuck out of here. And the NFL talks about, they want the role models of the next generation and shit, and that's who you fucking put on your billboards.
Also,
Cleveland. I think it's time to start cheering for Detroit and just switch teams at this point. Just
guys,
give it a couple years.
Cleveland's the same city that's river has caught on fire. Like it's a weird hellscape. Like
also on top of
he
that,
is the hero they deserve.
Miles Garrett also said no one deserves that. I've seen him work his ass off to get back here and put a smile on his face to try to put everything that's outside of the facility behind him. Death threats, people coming to his house, people going after his family. Like I said, no one deserves that. I hate using the word deserve. I usually consist at saying earned. He hadn't earned it, and he doesn't deserve it. Also goes on to say that man does pretty much everything right. There's a false statement proven
almost everything
incorrect.
The only thing in that he said that's correct is if it's true, yes. You don't go after his family.
100%.
Like they have zero
even death threats. You don't do that stuff, right?
That's the only.
You don't wish for someone to die, but
a
fucking good ACL tear, good fucking ACL tear, and take something that you love away from you, and maybe humble your ass a little bit. Yeah, death? No, fuck no, that's not
exactly.
right.
Yeah. And if those are proven, you know what I mean. We'll have to.
That's what I said. That's assuming that that's actually true.
He also goes on to say a model citizen through college and also the pros. Wrong again, dickhead.
Yeah.
Plays the game as hard as anyone I've seen, puts everything on the line, willing to throw his body out there. He plays the game at 100 miles an hour, and
he throws his body out there.
Yeah, he fucking gets helicopters on the goddamn massage table. So hey, ladies.
There's a risk of being injured, and he took that risk. We have to be there for him as a team and an organization. They already did that when he signed that check. We can't look down on a guy because any mistakes on the field or anything off the field. Yes, we can.
Yes, you can.
And we don't have any moral high ground to look down on the guy. Yes, we do. I'm sure there's
I'm sorry. That's
one
of those few things. Like,
isn't that what morals is?
Raise your hand here if you haven't sexually assaulted 20 women.
I haven't because I was told it's not a fucking okay thing to do.
I think that we all can come from that place. We can all go, no, that's bad.
Also raise your hand if you haven't signed $200 million contract that's fully guaranteed. Oh, you did? Okay, sorry. If Dan's living that life, we don't know.
Why do you think I'm doing all this trash?
I just signed, though. I just signed, so I'm going to whip my dick out and shake it around.
Well, it's a requirement.
At any place I want.
It's a requirement.
Yeah. Hey, lady, you back in groceries? You're doing a good job. You wanna play around?
Yeah, dude.
I got $230 million.
If you want to talk about that, though, like think about what you're saying too. Like talk about getting like rewarded for he does all that stuff and then gets essentially this money thrown in. Like he can't not make money. Like you know what I mean? Like he even if he tried, he could go out there and break his own leg and here's millions of dollars. Like.
After just the fact that it was fully guaranteed, like that says
what is this, baseball?
That sets a precedent as itself as a reward, right? It's not directly rewarding the behavior, but it certainly is if that contract's anything like it's ever been done before. And the reason they did it that way is so he wouldn't lose money if he was suspended. You understand? Like that's why they did it. Which is
they
even
knew he was
going
to be suspended.
Exactly.
They knew this was going to come out, and he was in the wrong multiple times. Not one, not twice, not 15, not even 17 times he was wrong. 24 times he was wrong.
1.5 football seasons.
Yeah. God damn it. Well, let's get off this before we get too dark. But I appreciate your enthusiasm. I'm glad we all can be on board with this because I said it. I think that was the first game, our first run through the NFL schedule in this week or this season of podcast. We got to Cleveland Browns. I mentioned it. Like I always root against them. I think it's complete bullshit. Sucks for the rest of the team though because now their salary cap fucked and no one else can do anything. And those kids and those young men and they deserve a good shot to have a Super Bowl chance. And now you're Cleveland. You get rid of a guy that's not a terrible person. I don't think he's sexually assaulted anybody, but he's definitely had his own things, Baker Mayfield, but he gets you a playoff run and you run him out of fucking town for this guy. Like, Jesus Christ.
Ridiculous, man.
What are we doing, man? Lord help us. We all
Bad
need
for
it,
the fans,
I can tell you.
but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The
At
rest
least
of
the
that
Colts
team-
ain't doing that, I guess. I mean, at
Well,
least the Colts are pretty damn good ran.
You feel bad for the fans, but Jordan, it kind of goes like what we talk about with the video game thing or whatever. Like at this point, it's up to them to
Do something about it.
Yeah, they use their wallets to, you know what I mean? Like if
They're gonna get money anyway, regardless.
That's tough,
like,
though, dude.
they-
That's tough. That's hard.
I mean, but unfortunately, that's the only way that they, you can do it. Like you cancel season ticket holders, canceled season ticket things like that. Like,
yep.
Then you start to actually usually see something. But it's
Yeah,
like they still go, they still show up, they just do whatever. Like it's not. Then you're definitely not doing. You have to make some kind of effort.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure.
I'm with you. Crazy times, man. But so that goes in there right there. I think athletes get paid way too much damn money. I understand they're playing a game and they're putting their bodies at risk every single day. That's great. But I know a lot of people in this world work 10 times harder than these guys and have amazing talents as well, and they don't get paid a damn thing. So,
well,
just
I
sucks,
mean, that all comes down to, I mean, that's just the way that kind of goes along the line. If we don't, prices go down if people stop paying the prices that they are. So that's just the way it works.
It's like, hey, I wanted to go buy a pickup truck, but then pickup trucks started going crazy because everyone's overpaying for a 15 to 20-year-old incumbents.
Are we gonna get on the car market? Because
it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just the same thing to houses. There's not enough houses and way too many people willing to buy them, so they jack the prices up, and now this is your price.
Also, we have no kind of laws to help with rent. Rent control. Like you can just the landlord can just come in tomorrow. But by the way, your rent's going up $1,000, and like there's just nothing you can for no reason.
Well, that's not just rent. That's also, I mean, there's nothing stopping
property taxes.
There's
everything.
nothing stopping.
Yeah.
Well, property taxes, I mean, that stuff actually goes to the community, right? So, there's no reason.
I'll be right back. Sorry.
There's no reason that people should be able to buy up a bunch of different houses with the same company in a bunch of different houses in the same neighborhood, and then be like, okay, we're going to rent them.
Slumlords, man.
It's crazy.
Yep. Real quick before we head out of here, the MLB, which is actually really fun to watch, especially in October in the postseason here. Looks like the Dodgers just beat the Mets 10-5.
I can't tell you anything about baseball except the White Sox had the worst season in modern history. Is all I know.
So it looks like it's gonna be Dodgers and Yanks, man, going at it. Which I was kind of hoping for a Yankee Mets World Series. I thought that'd been really fucking sweet, but just for sports.
I can tell you, as your comment saying that baseball is fun to watch, agree to disagree.
It's a great time to watch if they're hitting balls. If they're hitting a damn ball.
If I was in the stadium, I fully would change my stance on that. But
The last time it was fun to watch was when Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa were going for the record, and they were juiced.
They were juicing, baby. Get them all juicing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's get the players fucking juicing again. How much fun would that be? Every fucking hit, almost a home run.
Yeah,
how much fun that would be, guys.
Yeah, so what? Frank Thomas and Barry Bonds' heads got bigger randomly. Like whatever. Like it's a small price to pay.
Yeah, like I'm not mad. I think we should juice every player. I think all players should be juiced.
Okay.
Let's go. I mean, you want to make it you want to up your ratings? Fucking whatever. I don't even know any goddamn players, but
Ohtani and Judge are pretty much already look like they're juicing, but they're physically just elite specimens, which is crazy.
Judge looks like a fucking Toyota fucking 4Runner out there just hitting balls. Like, it's just bullshit. He's massive compared to everybody else.
Yep.
Ridiculous. But no, I just want to give a good shout out to baseball there. The World Series Game 1 will be on the 25th of October in a couple days here. So if you guys like baseball, tune into that. I'd love to hear your comments on who you think is going to win this series and be the world champions. I guess I don't know. Both teams are kind of powerhouses now, so it's hard to pick one at this point. But yeehaw. Anything else sports wise you guys can think of on the docket that you can see that you're pumped about?
I like hockey seasons getting underway. Like, it's fun to watch a game here and there, like when I can catch them.
Yeah, I can agree.
I'm not going to claim to be like an avid, but like every time I happen to catch one, like it'll catch my attention. I'll sit down and watch it. It's usually pretty. The playoffs last year were.
Oh, a blast. So that's another thing. Like, playoff hockey is just extremely awesome. I love that. You're a Blackhawks fan, correct?
I mean, I like the Blackhawks. I've watched them more when I was younger, especially like with my uncle. They got that Connor Bedard, who's
Yeah, he's young guy.
yeah, he's the next thing, the next prodigy, if you will. They're definitely far removed from Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews at their peak Blackhawks, but
Yeah.
when we got back the year Chris Chelios and back in the day. But no, I mean hockey's fun, and I give full credit to a friend of Jordan and mine, like our friend Corey. Like, it wasn't until talking with him where he like helped me really understand some of the more intricacies or some of the different like things with the game, like to understand it, where it made it more enjoyable. Because I used to never know like the blue line, the item. Like, none of that meant anything to me. I'm like, I have no idea. But like,
yeah, it's
having
tough
someone
to
kind of
watch it
help
if you don't know what the
explain
hell's
that a
going
bit.
on.
And then of course when we played, we had our NHL team, me, Jordan, and the boys, and
I love playing some NHL, dude. Holy cow!
I had my season in goal, Ron Tugnut, goalie of the year.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love sports. Sports are fun. I'm hoping the NFL gets fucking better for me, and you as well, Jordan. It sounds like.
Yeah, it'll get there. I mean, it is what it is. Also, fantasy football is now doing well this year, so it's like that's another just added negative to my excitement, I guess, if you
Tell me
will.
about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, and then we just talked about injuries, and I got like 3 different notifications that Marlon Humphrey is now dealing with a knee injury. It's like all these superstars get hurt, so like it's just tough. It's tough to run a good fantasy league, that's for sure.
I feel it. I can tell you Premier League's firmly underway. I don't know if you got any soccer fans or out there.
There we go. Let's go.
Liverpool still.
It's football. Soccer's what assholes call it.
You know what about that, Dan? It used to be called soccer in England when they a long time ago. It used to be called soccer, and then we took it and we're like, "Oh, soccer, yeah, that's what we're gonna call it." And they're like, "No, it's fucking football."
Dude, it's my ass. Up perfectly in that one skit where he's like, "Football." He's like, "Yeah, it's a game where you throw a ball with your hands." He's like,
yeah.
Oh, there's no kicking. There's a little kicking.
Hey, so soccer-wise,
go ahead.
No, soccer-wise, I mean, I don't know what to even start, but all I can tell you is FIFA is a fucking fun video game.
Yeah, dude.
It's not FIFA no more now. It's what is it, George?
It's actually EA FC 25 is the most recent one.
Holy shit! I need to get that and play with you boys because that sounds like a fun ass time.
Good time.
But I mean, my question is for you guys: when the hell is the next World Cup? Because that's the only time I really pay attention to soccer. And holy shit, it's fun to watch.
It's here. It's in the United States.
It'll be in North America.
We're hosting it
with Canada and Mexico. We're doing
the red fucking white and blue, baby.
That's right. Everybody's got.
Oh, I better fucking pay attention then, huh?
Mm-hmm.
We better qualify.
Shit. Yeah.
We'll qualify. There's no reason we won't.
I love it. Well, you guys are rocking and rolling. I appreciate it. It's a Monday. I do plan on, releasing another video probably Thursday or maybe even Friday. High school football, they start their IHSAA playoff run. A couple local teams are highly ranked and looking to make a huge playoff push for a state championship in November. So I will be going through the brackets on that. So we can tune into that if you guys like. If not, that's fine. I just want to keep it a separate video because it's pretty extensive because obviously there's 6 classes and a ton of sectionals. But I must focus on all the locals. I'm not sure if Dan and Jordan will join me on that, but they might just for the fucking banter. We'll find out. But either way, we appreciate you guys tuning into this one.
Hey, before we go, speaking of locals, I wasn't on last week. Did you guys discuss that you're a championship winning coach?
I did not. No, I didn't want to be too braggy about it, but no, my 4th, 5th, and 6th grade CFL Concord Football League, we dominated. We went 5-1 on the season, had some adversity the week prior, and we faced the same team in the championship and won a close battle. Man, our team grew from kids that had no idea what football was this year, and it decided how much fun and they started loving it pretty good. Oh, yeah, it was a good game, and I was coaching O-line, D-line boys, and you know we were running that ball. We were getting after it. So it was cool to see. It's cool to see these young kids find a love for the game and that's what it's all about, right? It was so much fun coaching that. I look forward for the next season. But yeah, we're champions. That's how we do it. And my nephew, thank you. My nephew, that's his 2nd in a row. He's won a championship, 4th, 5th grade. So now he's shooting for a 6th grade championship as well, which would be freaking sweet. Hopefully we can get there. That'd be awesome.
He's taking on being a lineman to heart, dude. He's got a lineman's body for sure.
Oh yeah, dude, ass crack hanging out the whole time. He's the center, snapping the ball.
He's got his little beer belly sticking over his pants and his little
dude,
butt crack sticking out.
He's a stud. He's like a little mini Jason Kelsey. He looks awesome. I love it. But we'll sign off on that. We have as of right now 45 subscribers on the YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate you guys going over there and getting us up to the 65 mark. That's at the Wynning Edge on YouTube. Find us, subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Quick, easy subscription. We'll let you know when new videos get posted and all that fun stuff. If we do hit 65, I do plan on hosting a nice live podcast with you, the followers, and hopefully get some back and forth banter and a kind of interaction with you, the fans. So I appreciate you guys that are watching and promoting. That helps out a lot. I plan on getting more involved with TikTok. I keep saying this every week, but I keep getting so damn busy. So I'm gonna try my best to get TikTok rolling here. So you guys, I know that's where everyone's at. And if you guys want me to boost that, I need to boost this followers so I can get 1,000 so I can go live on there. That would be so sweet stuff. But no, I appreciate you guys all. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, go Irish. Wait, go football. All right.
God damn it.
All right, see you guys.